Hello everyone, today in this video we'll be discussing the module 3 of ATM-CS54, and in this video we'll be covering the two main topics, which are context-free grammars and push-down automata. Okay, so the topics are divided into mainly these two parts, and we'll be discussing some other things like parse trees and normal forms and all in these topics. Okay, and we'll be solving a lot of questions in this module. So let's begin this module, and after that we will be solving the previous questions as well. And if you like this video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And let's go through the topics quickly. First one is the context-free grammars, and we have to discuss about the CFGs and the languages, how to design it and simplify it, and proving that the grammar is correct, and ambiguity, normal forms, push-down automata, its definition, and is it deterministic or non-deterministic, and other similar topics. Okay. After that, we'll be solving these questions. Means most of the questions which I have written here, I have taken in the examples also. So I have discussed there itself, but which will be remaining, we'll be discussing in the end. Okay. And let's get started with the first topic, which is context-free grammars. What is context-free grammar? Firstly, G is a quadruple, which is defined by these four letters here: V and sigma, R and S. What are these four letters? We'll discuss now. V means a rule or alphabet. Okay, V means capital letters. Remember that. Okay, V means capital letters. Okay, I'll discuss what capital letter means in the upcoming examples. But for now, remember that V means capital letters. Okay, and sigma is a set of alphabets which we have already discussed in the previous module, and R is the rule, and S is the starting symbol. Okay, and one rule which we need to follow in the context-free grammar is that LHS should have the capital letters, and RHS can have either small letter or capital letter or epsilon. Okay, but in the left only capital letter should be there. Okay, that is the rule for context-free grammars. So let's understand this by an example. The question can be of this type: obtain a CFG to generate any number of A's. Okay, see, obtain a context-free grammar to generate any number of A's, and the alphabet set is A. Okay, so we have A here. We have to generate a string which has n number of A's. Means it can be 0A, means epsilon, or A, or AA, or AAA, and n number of A's. Okay, so these are the possibilities. Let's discuss it one by one. So firstly in this set, what we have is epsilon. Okay, so this is the language, which will be epsilon first, and then we have AA, and like that we can have n number of A's. Okay, so this is the language. Now to generate epsilon, what we have to write is, we have to start with a capital letter, right? So in most of the cases we'll be starting with S. Okay, to write the context-free grammar, first we will have to write S, then we have to make an arrow. Since the first symbol is epsilon, what I'll be doing is I'll be writing here epsilon. So S goes to epsilon. Next what we have is A. If it is A, what I have to write is S goes to A. Okay. Next what we have? Next we have S goes to AA. Either I can write AA, then what I have to write is, I have to write again S is equal to S goes to AA. Then again I have to write S goes to AAA. Like that it will, I have to write till n number of times, right? It's not possible because it is not ending, right? So what we have to do is, we have to denote a rule using which we can derive as many strings as we want. So what is that rule? That rule is nothing but, we will be writing here S. Okay, just by writing a simple S, we got the rule for deriving n number of languages. For example, if I want AA, what I will be doing is, I will be writing S goes to AS. Okay, I'll be writing S goes to AS, and what is S? S is nothing but AS, right? AS. And what is S? Here I can substitute as epsilon. So this will go. What I got is AA, right? If I want 3A, what I will do? The same thing. I have these two rules: S goes to epsilon and S goes to AS. I'll be writing S goes to AS, and instead of this S, what I will write is AS. And instead of this S also, I'll write as AS. Okay, and I need 3A, so what I will substitute in the place of this S is epsilon. So I'll get the final answer as AAA. Like that I can do for n number of A's. Okay, so this is the thing which we need to find out to generate the strings what we want, keeping in mind the rules. This is the final answer which you have to write. S goes to epsilon and S goes to AS. Okay. So this is known as context free grammar. Okay. S goes to AS and S goes to epsilon. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. Generate a string consisting of at least one A. Okay. So what will be our language? At least one A means our language will start from A, AA, AAA and till n number of A's. Okay. This is our language. By using how can we derive the context free grammar for this language? So this language starts from A. So what is the least string? Least string is A, right? So I'll be writing S goes to A. Epsilon is not there because if I write there epsilon, that will be accepted. That is not a part of the language. Okay, so I cannot write epsilon. I'll be writing first S goes to A. Then to generate n number of A's we have discussed, we will write here S. Okay. By using this, we can have at least one A, and actually we have to write two things here. S goes to A is the first string. The second string is S goes to AS. So whenever I want to end this string, for example, if I have to generate 3A, what I will do? First I will write S goes to AS. Okay, and instead of S I will write AS, and instead of the final S I will write as A. So in this case, what I got? 3A, right? By using this, I'll terminate the string. Okay. Let's move on to the next one, which is to generate a string consisting any number of A's and B's. Okay. So in this language, what we have is A's and B's, both the letters we have. Okay. And those can be any number of A's and B's. So it's simple. What we'll do is first let's write down the minimum language what we can form. So our language can contain any number of A's and B's, right? So L will be equal to, first it can be epsilon because 0 number of A and 0 number of B, or it can be A, or it can be B, or it can be 1 time A and 1 time B, or 2 time A and 1 time B, or even 1 time A and 2 time B. Like that we can have any number of combination like A, B, A also. Okay. Yeah, we can have A, B also. So let's see for the first string how can we generate epsilon. It's epsilon, right? So what you have to write is S goes to epsilon. Then what's the next thing? S goes to A, right there. Then S goes to B, and to generate n number of A's and B's. Suppose that I want to generate AB. If I want to generate AB, what I can write is S goes to AS. So instead of this S, what I will replace is this one. So I'll get AB. But if I have to generate BA, what I'll write? This one, BS. So instead of this S, if I write here as AS, then it will generate BA. Okay. And if I want A continuously or B continuously, that's already there. Instead of this S, if I replace with AS, it will be AAS and so on. In this case, it will be BBS and so on. Okay. So all the possibilities I've covered in this 3 lines. And this is the answer for the third question, which is to generate a string consisting of n number of A's and B's. Okay, these 3 lines you have to write down. Okay. And moving on, we have the fourth question. Generate a string consisting of at least 2 A's. At least 2 A means, see previously we had at least 1 A. What we did, we wrote S goes to A, then S goes to AS. At least 2 A means S goes to 2 A. That should be always there. Okay. If I have to end this string, I have to pass through AA. So the string will contain at least 2 A's. Okay. Let's move on to the next one, which is to generate a string consisting of even number of A's. Even number of A's, what will be the language? The language for even number of A's will be either epsilon or AA or AA or like that, even number of A's. Okay. So S goes to epsilon will be the first string, then S goes to AA, then S. Okay. So each time if I add S, if I replace S, it will be replaced with 2A and further S. Okay. Further S for continuing the string, or I can substitute as epsilon to end the string. Okay. So this is the answer. S goes to AAS and S goes to epsilon. Let's move on to the next one, which is a string consisting of number of A's as multiple of 3. Okay. So the language given is that it should have only A and it should be a multiple of 3. So previously we have discussed the even number of A's means a multiple of 2, we had 2a, and now we have multiple of 3 means 3a should be there. Okay. And to generate a string of a's and b's of string length a multiple of 3. So in this we can have either a or b and a multiple of 3. Here what we did, if it was a, we have written a and s, right? But now we have either a or b. Okay, let me explain you here. Previously we had multiple of 3 as a, right? So we wrote a and s. So now what we have is a or b, means each of these place can be replaced with a or b, right? Both are the possibilities are there, a slash b, a slash b, a slash b. So each of these place can have either a or b. So I can represent a or b as a, capital A. Suppose if I replace these three places as capital A, I'll get as, what I'll get is 3 times capital A, right? 3 times capital A and S. Okay, and then I'll define A as A goes to A or B or epsilon. Okay, so each of these places can be replaced with A or B. Okay, we'll have a multiple of 3 each time. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is generate any number of A's and B's with at least one A. At least one A should be there, and we have to generate means at least one A should be there, and after that you can have any number of A's and B's. Okay, and before that B can also be there. Let's understand that by an example here. Here this diagram I'll draw here. In this diagram at least one A should be there. So if this is the starting state and this is the final state, from to reach the final state I have to pass through A. So our condition is satisfied. And for each state I'll have to have A's and B's, means from this state A is there and B is also there. From this state I can have n number of A's and B's here. Okay, this we have discussed already in the previous module, right? So how can we generate the context free grammar? In context free grammar I'll write s goes to A. If this is the starting state and this is the final state, if I write capital A, s goes to A and capital A. Okay, this is the capital A, s is going from A to capital A, that I've written here. Then what is A? And for that we have B also here, so for B also I'll write s goes to BS, because passing through B I'll reach again S. Okay, what about A? A goes to A, then capital A, or B, then capital A, or epsilon, or I can have nothing, right? Because that's the final state. This A I have written here to continue. If I don't write here, suppose that I don't write A here, what will happen? If I want to generate a string like A, I cannot generate, because first A will lead me to here, second A will lead me to here because of A, then it will stop. If I want to continue, I'll write here A. This can be replaced with either AA, BA, or epsilon. Okay, so I'll get the required string. So these are three things which I have to write here. And the next one is any number of A's and B's with at least one B. The same thing as we have written here, at least one A, and here we have at least one B. Okay, so that's the only difference. And here we have the strings of A's and B's with the substring AB. Substring AB means what are the possible languages. The possible languages will contain AB in the string for sure, and I can have anything after that. What is the least string? AB, and I can have A or B before or after, like this is the ending AB, and I can have in starting also ending with BA or something like that. Okay, so this is the language which you have, and the least string is AB. Okay, so if the least string is AB, what I have to write is AB here, and before that I can have A or B. As you know, capital A means A or B. Here also I can have capital A, which means A or B, and in between there is AB. Okay, so I'll be writing as goes to A, AB, AB should be there, and capital A. And what are the possibilities of A? A can be either epsilon, or A can be either AA or BA, right? These are three possibilities of A, right? Either I can have A to continue, I have written capital A also. Same thing I can have with B also. In both places I can replace with either A or B, right? So it can be either epsilon also. So these are the two things which I have to write for this question. Okay, this is the context free grammar. Similarly, we have to generate a strings of A's and B starting with AB. If it's starting with AB, we'll write AB in the starting part, and after that we can have A, which means any number of A's and B's. If it's ending with AB, we'll write capital A in the starting and ending with AB, and E can be replaced with any number of A's and B's. And L goes to epsilon W, the number of A in W mod 2 is equal to 0. That means the alphabet set is A and B, so the string can contain A and B, but the rule is that the number of A should be even. Okay, if I write the language here, the number of A should be even. What is the least string where A is even? It can have B also. It will be epsilon, okay, because number of A is 0, which is even, and B there is no constraint, so the minimum string is epsilon. What's the next string? B, because I can have n number of B's, right? Because A is 0, A is even, and I can have 2A and 4A along with B, and can have in between also, okay, like A, B, A. The number of A should be even. How can we generate this string? To generate this string, what we need is, first, what is the minimum string? S goes to epsilon, right? This is the minimum string. The minimum string I have written here is epsilon. So S goes to epsilon. And I can have B also, means only B's. Because with only B, I can have 0 number of A's, that's also a valid string. So I'll be writing here BS. So S will be repeated. Else what we can have is S goes to 2A are there, right? So I'll write here AA. Actually not AA together, because if I write AA together, only the strings with AA together will be generated and ABA will be not be possible. So for that what I'll write is AA I'll write, and I can have the strings here any string, here also any string, and here also any string. Let me explain you this. If I want to generate ABA, what I will do, I'll replace this S with epsilon from here, this S with epsilon from here, and then the middle string with B. Okay, and this S will be replaced with epsilon. So what I will get is A, BS, A, and here I'll have epsilon, so it will be ABA. Okay. So why I have not written A and A together is because if I write A together, always I'll generate the strings having A together. Okay, but we also need to generate those strings which have B in between. So that's why I've written this rule: S, then A, then S, then A, then A. Okay, so that means anywhere we can generate B's, and A should be 2 at least. Okay, each time if I repeat S, it will have always the multiple of 2. Okay, so this is the context free gamma for this question. Okay. The next one is L is equal to A power n, B power n. N can be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, let me explain this. Here what we have is A power n and B power n. That means what is the minimum string? L is equal to epsilon. That's the minimum string. What's the next string? If n is 1, AB. If n is 2, AABB. If n is 3, AAA, BBB, and so on. Okay. Each time if I generate A, I have to generate an equivalent B also. So what will be my language? My language will be S is equal to A S B. Try to replace S with A S B. So if I have to generate A A B B, okay, and S goes to epsilon also. If I have to generate epsilon, I'll go with this string. If I have to generate A B, what I will do is I'll write S is equal to A S B, and instead of S I'll replace with epsilon. So I'll get A B, right? If I have to generate AABB, what I will do, I'll replace this S with, let me replace, this S will be replaced with ASB, because S is equal to ASB, right? And here I'll have epsilon. So what's happening here? Wherever S is there, I'm getting replaced with ASB. Then again ASB. The S will be replaced with ASB, and so on. So what will happen? I'll get a n number of A's here in the starting, and in the ending I'll have n number of B's. Finally, I'll replace S with epsilon where I want to stop. So I'll get the string as n number of A's followed by n number of B's. Okay. In the same way, we have if at least one n is greater than or equal to 1, instead of epsilon, what we'll have is AB. So at least AB will be generated, and more number of A's can be AB can be generated by ASB. Wherever I want to stop, I'll stop with AB. Okay. Moving on, we have the question of the type L is equal to A power n plus 1 and B power n. So it is the same as the previous one, but here we will have one extra A. Okay. So the language will be the strings which are acceptable are we have A power n plus 1 and B power n. So if n value is 0, we'll have A. If n is 1, we will have a and b, and if n value is 2, we will have a and then b. Okay. So here what's happening is the number of a's and b's are equal, but b is 1 less than number of a's. Okay. So if a is 3, b will be 2. If a is 2, b will be 1. If a is 1, b will be 0. So we'll have to just generate an extra a along with what we already have, like a power n, b power n. We'll do the same thing for as we have done for this one, and we'll generate one extra a. How to generate an extra a is we'll just write s is equal to asb. This will generate a power n and b power n. And if you write s goes to a, we will generate an extra a at the end. E. This will generate a power n and b power n. Now if you have to terminate the string, we'll add an extra a which will terminate the string, right? So we'll have a power n plus 1 and b power n. Same thing goes for the second one also. Here also we have the same thing, but we have b power n plus 1. Therefore we'll write b extra at the terminating character. And here we have a power n and b power n plus 2. If n value is 0, we'll have 2b, at least 2b, right? If n power 0 is there, that means a will be 0 and b will be 2 times. So that the least character is bb, and after that we have the same thing, a power n and b power n. And if it is 2n, that means for each a generated we should have 2b. So I'll write here as a, s and bb. Okay. And since putting n as 0, we'll get here as b power 0 and a power 0. We finally have epsilon also, because 0 is acceptable by the language defined here. So as goes to epsilon also should be included. The next one is to generate a language of all palindromes over AB. What is a palindrome? Palindrome is something which will have in the first half the same as the reverse in the second half. For example, if we consider the language here we have the letters A and B, and I've written here S goes to ASA and B goes to BSB. Okay, and S goes to either epsilon, A and B. So let's understand what is this. Here we have three things. S goes to A, S goes to A, S, A, and S goes to B, S, B. So basically, why we have written this in this way is because whenever an A is generated, the A should be generated in the reverse form from the end, right? So we'll have A in the starting and the ending position, and we have B also. So B can also be included. So whenever we include B, the ending B should be included at the ending part of the string also. So we have B and B. Okay. So in this way, we can generate a palindrome, and finally to end the string, we can have either A in the middle or epsilon or B. Okay. For example, if I have to generate A, B, B, B. What I will do is first I will start with ASA. I'll write here A, S, A. Instead of S, I'll write again ASA. So it will be AA. Sorry, not ASA. Will be should be actually not B here. It will be A. Okay. So first we will have ASA here, and after that we'll have ASB. But doing that in that way will not lead us to a palindrome. So we have to consider a palindrome, right? So we'll have a palindrome here. A and ending also A, then we have here B and B, and between also B. So considering this string here, what we'll do is first we'll take A as A, and instead of S we'll write here B as B. So we'll have, instead of this letter here B, S we'll write here S as in between B and B, and instead of S we'll substitute as B from here. Okay, so we'll get a palindrome here. So by using these three strings we can generate the palindrome. Okay, so this is the three strings which we have to write for this question. Okay. Let's go on to the next one, which is 0 power m, 1 power m, and 2 power n. See, this is divided into two parts. Okay, this is the first part, this is the second part. Okay, because these two have the powers as m and this has the power as n. Okay, so whenever we have the power as m, at that time m is greater than or equal to 1, so the least string is 0, 1, right? And n is greater than or equal to 0, that means 2 power n means 2 can be either 0 also. So the least string is 0, 1. Okay. Firstly, divide this into two parts, A and B. A represents 0 power m and 1 power m, and B represents 2 power n. Let's discuss about 0 power m and 1 power m. What is the least string? If m is 1, it will be 0, 1, right? So for A, I've written here 0, 1. Okay. And if you want to expand this one, what we'll be doing is we'll be having 0, 1 here. It's the same as A power n and B power n, right? What was the string when it was A power n and B power m? Remember, if the string was S goes to A power n and B power n, the language which was defined was in this way, then we have written here S is equal to ASB, right? So instead of S we can substitute again AB and so on. Okay, So the same thing whenever we get the question in this form, like in this case it is 0 power m and 1 power n, we'll be doing the same thing here. S goes to, instead of a we have 0, and instead of s we have here, actually in the question it was a, but here we'll be writing s only because we have taken s here, and 0 s1 is there. Okay, in the actual question which we are discussing, it is not s, it is s, it is a, so we'll be writing here a 0 a1. If I have to generate 0 0 1 1, what I will do, first I'll write 0 a1, and instead of a I'll write 0 a1, and instead of a I'll subtract 0, so we'll have 0 0 and 1 1. Okay, so this is the same thing which we will be doing here, 0 1 and 0 a1 for this one. Now that's about the first part of the string. The second part is 2 power n. How to write a automata for this one. For this one we will be writing b goes to 2b, because 2 is there and 2 can be generated n number of times, right? So that will be continued with b. Okay, 2 power n means 2, it can be 2 2 2 2 2 2, like that n number of 2's can be there. Okay, so we'll be writing b goes to 2b. So after 2 I can either have epsilon, or if I want to continue I can continue with 2b, 2b only. And this is the rules for the two parts a and b, and finally we'll concatenate it with s, so we'll get s goes to ab, and ab are defined here. Okay, let's move to the next one, where we have to obtain a grammar to generate L is equal to W. The number of A's in the string is equal to the number of A's in the string is equal to the number of B's in the string. Okay, so number of A's and B's should be equal. What are the possible languages? What are the possible strings? The strings which can be possible are, the only condition is that the number of A's and B should be equal. Therefore, the string can be epsilon, where A and B are 0. If A and B are 1, it can be AB, or even BA, because BA is also having the same number of A's and B's, right? And we can have 2 A's and 2 B's, and this can be in different combinations like AB, AB, or BA, BA, or BB, AA. These are the four combinations of these strings. So we can the condition is just that the number of A's and B should be equal. Okay, so let's see how to do that. Firstly, we'll have to note down the first string, which is s goes to epsilon. Okay, this is a D string, and we can have combinations, right, like AB or BA. Okay, if it is AB, we can substitute s with any of these two strings, so it will be AB, BA. If I substitute this one, so for example, if I write here, the two possibilities are s goes to A S B and s goes to B S A. Okay, so if I have to generate the string A A B B, what I will do is, first I will write A goes to ASB. ASB, instead of s I will write again ASB. So I'll get AA, BB, and this one I'll take as epsilon. So I'll get AA, BB. If I want the alternate strings like AB, AB, what I'll do is I'll write ASB first, ASB, and the second S will be substituted by BSA. Okay, so I'll get ABS, AB, and this one will be taken as epsilon, right? So we'll have AB and AB here. But if we want to accommodate like BA, BA, that can also be done by first taking this S, we will have BSA, then substitute this one with ASB, so we'll have BA, BA. Okay. What about the string AA and BB? Can we generate using these two strings? We cannot generate, right? So in that case, what we will do is, we will write here S goes to SS. So S can either be ASB or BSA. Now by using this, can I generate AA and BB? Let's try. It's A and B, right? So what I will do is, I'll write here, first S I'll write here AA. First S I should get as AA, so I'll write here ASB, and here also I'll write as this you can take as epsilon, right? Because if I take as epsilon, I'll get A, and here also I'll write as ASB, and here I have B from the previous one. So if I substitute this as epsilon, I'll get this string, right? So I guess it should be just S goes to S, but I'm not sure of it. Let me confirm it. But for now, you got the point, right? We'll have to generate the strings of AA and BB. So for that, we'll be using S goes to S. Okay, and finally we'll have S goes to epsilon also, which we had written earlier. Okay. Moving on, we have a power n and b power m, and n is greater than or equal to 0 and m is greater than n. Okay, listen carefully. We have a power n and b power m. Okay, n can have 0 also, from 0, 1, 2, like that, and b value is m value is like greater than n. Okay, it can be any value which is greater than n. Okay, so if n is 0, what will be the value of m? M will be 1 or more, right? If n is 0, m will be 1 or more, means 1, 2, 3, like that till n. And if n is 1, m will be 2, 3, 4, 5. If n is 2, it will be 3, 4, 5. Like that it will go on. Okay. So let's write down the possible strings here. If I write the possible strings here, it's a power n and b power m. So the string given is a power n and b power m, and the rule is n is greater than or equal to 0, m is greater than n. So if n is equal to 0, let's write down the first case where n is 0. In case n is 0, what should be the string which we have taken? A will be a power 0 is 0, so it will be b or bb, b, and so on. Okay, like a number of these. And if it is, you can represent bb in the different forms. For now, let's consider this one. If n is equal to 1, what are the values of m? M will be 2 or more, right? So if n is 1, it will be a, then it will be a, b, 2 or more, right? So it should be actually not a, it should be actually a, b, b, right? And here we'll have a, not a, it should be a, b, 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 and a, then 4 b's, and so on. Okay. And if n is equal to 2, the value of m will be 3 or more. So initially it will be a, then followed by 3 b's, and the next one 2a's followed by 4 b's, and so on. What pattern you can observe here? In this we can observe that the two b's are common here, right? If 3b starting point will have here 3 b's for all the combinations, and the remaining one is just an extra aa, and here we have b, and in the next one it will have 2 b's, next one it will have 3 b's, and so on. Here we have 2 b's, so everywhere it is 2b only, but the number of b is increasing, a is constant, a is 1 and b is 1 here, b is 2 here, and so on. So let's write the automata for this one. Here we'll have s goes to ab. We'll divide this into two parts. The first part is a goes to the part before b star. B star means 0 or more b's. Okay. So if n is equal to 0, like I have written here, if n is equal to 0, we'll have no a here. Okay. What we'll have is b and b star. This we can write this as b and b star only, right? Because b star means 0 or more b's, so it will have bb, bbb, and b followed by n number of b's. Okay, so this is bb star, and this will be bb, then b star, two b's and b star, and this will be 3 b's and then b star, right? So here the number of b's is equal to 1 plus n, right? If n is 0, we have 1b here. If n is 1, we have 2b here. If n is 2, we have 3b here, right? So in this way we will be writing the number of a will be means how many number of a is there, b will be 1 more than that, right? So we'll do the same thing here. Here we have a starting with a and then b, okay, and in between a to continue for a. Okay, basically what the thing is happening here is whenever we increase an a, we have to have the b also. Okay, and after that we can have a number of b's. Okay, so that's the main thing here for a. A will be distributed as a b. So whenever we get an a here, we'll be getting a b also here. Okay, so a and b are satisfied in the first part, and the b power m is satisfied by the b part here. Okay, b or b and b to get n number of b's. Okay. Moving on to the next one, we have a power I and b power j and c power k, and the condition is I plus j is equal to k. So how many a we have, that many c should be there, and how many b we have, that many c should be there. Okay, so we can rearrange this as in this way: a power I and b power j and c power k as c power k can be written as c power I and c power j, and a and c can be taken together, b and c can be taken together, a and c can be taken together. Okay. So when we write it in this way, what we'll have is, if we want to generate a string which will have equal number of a and b, we are writing as ASC, like in the previous one, a power n and b power n, it was ASB, right? So here we have a and c, so we'll have ASB, and in the same way we have b and c here also. So we'll have here BC in the middle, and this will be like take another letter like k. Okay. So in between A and C we'll have BC, so we'll be writing here BC, and K is substituted as K goes to BKC. Okay. and S goes to either A, S, C or K. Means suppose that if I want to generate, let me write down here. If I want to generate a string A, B, C, C, okay, this one A, B, C, C. What I will do is first I will write A, S, C. Okay, after writing A, S, C, we need in the middle part B, C. Right? How to write the B, C in the middle part? This can be substituted as K. Okay, what is K? K is B, K, C. Okay, so I'll write here A, B, K, C, and BKC's K can be substituted as epsilon. So I'll write here as BC. So here I get as A, B, C and C. Okay. In that way I can have n number of BC's in the middle of A and C. Okay. And I can have n number of A and C's also. Like for example, if it is S and A, S, C is there, instead of this S I can write as A, S, C. So I'll have A, S, C, C. Right. I can have a number of A and C's in the outer part. In the middle part, when I want, I can substitute S as K and continue from here. When I want to stop, I will substitute K value as epsilon and that will end the string. Okay. So this is the answer for the 9th question. Let's move on to the next one where we have A power n and B power n minus 3. So the least value of n should be 3. Otherwise it will be negative. Right. For example, if n is 0, it will be power minus 3. That will not make any sense. Right. So we should have here 3. Okay. So when we have n as 3, what we'll have is A power 3 and B power 0. So it will be AAA. When n is 4, we'll have 4A's, means AAA will be already there, and here we'll have AB. If it is 5, we'll have AABB. So initially we'll have AAA 3 times. We'll write here S goes to AAA and capital A. And in capital A, what we have is AABB, AAABBB, like A power n and B power n. What is the formula for A power n and B power n? It is A, capital A and B, right? So this will be the formula for A, and these two lines are the CFG for the given question. Okay. And finally, we have the obtain the grammar to generate these two strings. We already discussed about A power n and B power m. Like we'll be writing that rule here, and this is the rule for L2, which is 0 power n and 1 power 2n. This also we have discussed here in the previous questions. So we'll write these two rules here. To concatenate, what we'll write is we'll write S is equal to S1 dot S2. For finding the union, we'll write S1 or S2 and define what is S1 and S2 below it. Okay. Let's discuss about the context-free grammars. We have two types, LMD and RMD. LMD means leftmost derivation and RMD means rightmost derivation. Okay. And we'll start from the root. We'll have the symbol S here, and we'll have three options: either go with epsilon or V, which is non-terminal, and or the terminal characters, which is sigma. Okay. And we have the leaf nodes here. We'll understand what are these things by an example. Okay. So suppose that before that, let's discuss the rules. E can be written as E plus E or E minus E, E into E, E divided by E, E power E, and E can be substituted as ID. Okay. So let's see an example here. The question can be of this type: derived for W is equal to ID plus ID star ID. Okay. So leftmost derivation will start from the left. The left part means we'll write first E is equal to E plus E. Why we have written E plus E? As you can observe here in the left part, what you can see is ID plus ID. So we'll start from E plus E. Okay. After writing that, what is the left part of this string here? The left part of this string is E. Okay. We need ID. So E will be substituted as ID. Okay. By using these rules, we'll be following these rules only. Okay. So we'll write there as ID, and then we'll move on to the right part. In right part we have only E, but in the final what we have is ID into ID. So we need a star here. So E can be written as E star E. Okay. And after that we'll start from the left. The left part is substituted as ID, and the right part will be substituted as ID. Okay. So finally we'll have ID plus ID star ID. Okay. So this is the leftmost derivation, and coming to the right part, we have to consider from the right part. Okay. So firstly we'll start from the right part, which is ID into ID. Okay. Actually I have to write here ID into ID, but I have written plus. That's my mistake. If I write here ID into ID, that means I'll write here E star E, then E star E will be substituted as ID, and then I'll be writing here ID plus ID, ID into ID. Okay. And after that I'll move on to the left part. From the right I have started, I'll move on to the left part. Then I'll be writing here whatever I get here plus E, because I need a plus here, right? So I'll be writing here E plus ID into ID, and E will be substituted as ID. Okay. So these are the two equations which we got, ID plus ID star ID here also. Okay. So this is a parse tree. Parse tree will be nothing but, if you start from the left part, what we did first, E plus E. So right here E plus E. Okay. E is written as E plus E. After that, what we did, we substituted the value of E as ID, and then this value of E was substituted as E star E, and each of the E was written as ID. Okay, so this is the pass tree for the leftmost derivation. Similarly, for the rightmost derivation, first we'll write E. Okay, let me write down here. For the rightmost derivation, first we'll write the question was ID plus ID into E into sorry, it was ID. Okay, so this is the question which is given to us. So first, what we did, rightmost derivation. Okay, means E was written as E star E. After writing E as E star E, then what we did was I have substituted the value of E as ID, and this E was written as E plus E. And after that, what we did, this was ID, this became ID, and this also became ID. Okay, that's what happened here. Okay, so this E also became ID. So this is the pass tree for the right one, and this is the pass tree for the left one. As you can see, they are not the same. See here it's plus here first, but here it is into. Okay, so these two pass trees are not same. So whenever we get a different pass tree for the same equation, when we start from the left and the right, it's known as ambiguous tree. Okay, so that's what we'll be discussing now in the upcoming topic. So we have to perform the rightmost and the leftmost derivation to obtain the two strings. The rules are given here. See, in this type of questions, we'll be given the rules as well as the string which we have to generate. We just have to write the LMD derivation and the rightmost derivation. Okay. So we'll start from the LMD for the first one, which is A, and B. Okay, these are the rules which are given to us. Firstly, we'll be writing S goes to AB. Okay, from here S goes to AB, we'll be writing here. Then after that, we'll be starting from the left, right? To get A, and B, we have to substitute the value of A as A and A. Okay, capital A, so that we can continue with A in the further steps. So like A, then A, and A will be substituted as the small a followed by 2a from the previous one. Okay, so we have 3a here followed by B. Then we'll go for B. Okay, B will be substituted as small b because that's the one step process. We have to get the string here, so we have this string here. Okay, now making the pass tree for this one, what we'll get is S was written as A and B, right? Here we have written S as AB, so we'll be writing here S as AB, and then what we did was the substitution part. B was written as B, A was written as capital A small a. This capital A was written as the capital A and small a here, and this was substituted as small a. Okay, so here we have A and B. So the yield will be starting from the left part to the right, which is A and B. Okay, so this is the yield for this pass tree, and this was the leftmost derivation. Okay, let's discuss about the rightmost derivation. The same thing we'll do. First we'll write here AB, and we'll start from B first. Okay, because it's rightmost derivation, and B will be substituted as small b, and A is written as such. And after we get over with the right part, we'll move on to the left part. Left part is AA, then AAA, then 3A. Okay, so this is the rightmost derivation for this question, and yeah, that's all we have to do. Perform the rightmost and the leftmost derivation which we did for this question. Okay, the next one is 2ab. The same thing, instead of 3a's we took here, we'll be stopping at the second a and substituting the capital A as small a. Okay, so we'll obtain this one here. In the leftmost derivation, we'll start from the left and move on to the right, and in the rightmost derivation, we'll start from the right, which is from B, and we'll move on to the left, which is A. Okay, so we'll have AAB here, and here also we'll have AAB. Okay, so that was about this the generation of the pass trees. Okay, now we have to focus more on what is the ambiguity. Ambiguity means when we generate the pass tree for the left and the rightmost derivation, it should be equal. If it's not equal, that means it's ambiguous. Okay, so let's see how to identify if it's ambiguous or not. Okay, for example, if this is the question which I had solved earlier also, ID plus ID star ID, let's see if it's ambiguous or not. Okay, firstly we'll do the leftmost derivation, then we'll make the pass tree for it, and then we'll do the rightmost derivation and make the pass tree for it. Then we'll compare the pass trees. If it's same, it's not ambiguous. If it's not same, it's ambiguous. Okay. So let's follow the rules and do the derivation. Firstly, we'll be writing here E plus E because it's leftmost derivation, right? So we'll be writing here E plus E, and the rule is that E goes to E or I, then I goes to ID. These are two-step process. Okay. In the previous question, we have not discussed that. Here we have to take E as capital I, and I will go to ID. Okay. So firstly we'll start from here, ID plus ID, so we'll write E plus E, E will be substituted as I, then I will be substituted as ID, and then we'll move on to the left part which is E here. E can be written as E star E because the final answer we need ID star ID, right? Then there is a substitution part where we'll substitute first as I, then we'll substitute as ID. Okay, so we'll get here id plus id star id. Okay, making the pass tree for it, what we'll get is first what we did, e plus e was written as e plus e. Then what we did, substituted the value of e as I and id, and this was written as, this e was written as e star e, right? This e was written as e star e. So right here e and e star e, then we have substituted these values as I and id, and here also the same thing. Okay, so this is the pass tree for the leftmost derivation. The same thing will be done for the rightmost derivation as well. Here we'll have e goes to e star e, because in the right part, as you can see here, it is id star id, right? So we'll have to write here e star e, then we'll be doing a substitution part from the right part, which is e will be written as I, then id, and moving on to here. Here we have e, but we need e plus e, right? Because in the first part of the question, what we have, id plus id, right? After we have written e as e plus e, then we'll be doing a substitution part of I and id for both of these e. Okay. So making the pass through, what we get here is e star e in the first part, e will be written as e star e. Then the right part will start from here, e will be substituted as I and id. Then in the left part of the e will be substituted as e plus e, and each of these e will be further substituted as I and id. So this is the pass tree which we got for the rightmost derivation. If you compare the left most derivation tree and the rightmost derivation tree, we can observe that it is not same, because here we have in the starting part e plus e, but here we have e star e. Okay, so if we get a different pass tree for both of these derivations, it means it's ambiguous. Okay, so that's all we have to prove in this question to check if it's ambiguous or not. Okay, let's hear second question here, which is, this is the rule which is given to us, and this is a string which we have to generate, and LMD, which is the leftmost derivation. Starting from the leftmost derivation, first write s is equal to as, and then we'll be writing, if I have to generate this thing here, a, what we're doing is a and s is written here, s is substituted as x. Okay, so see here, there's an option, right? S goes to as or s goes to x. Okay, so I've written here s as x. Okay, what is x? X is nothing but ax or a. Since we need more a's, we'll be writing ax in the place of x here, and finally when we need to stop, we'll be writing x as a. Okay, so this is the string which we generate by using these rules. Okay, leftmost derivation. For the rightmost derivation, first we write s goes to x, and then x is substituted as ax, and then aax, and then 4a, and then final one a. Okay, so generating the pass tree, first right here s goes to as we have done for this one, as, then s was written as x, so right here s as x, and then move on. Okay, but in the rightmost derivation, first we have written s as x, so we have written directly s as x, and then 4a. Okay, so as you can see, the both of these pass trees are not same, so therefore the language is ambiguous. Okay, the next one is simplification of grammars. Here we have to simplify with the grammar given to us. We will be following three rules: eliminating the useless symbols, eliminating the epsilon productions, eliminating the unit productions. Okay, so we'll be discussing each of these rules by an example, and when we do these three rules, it will be the grammar will be simplified. Okay, so let's get started with the example first. What is the example given to us is, these are the rules given to us. We have to simplify this grammar. Okay, so it's given us that s goes to a and capital A, small b and capital B. Capital A goes to small a, capital A, or small a, and capital B goes to b and capital B. D goes to a, b, and epsilon a, and E goes to this a, or E goes to a, c, or D. The first test, the first thing which we are going to learn about is the eliminating the useless symbols. Okay, so here we have to carry out two tests: generating test and the reachability test. Okay, so let's carry out the generating test. In the generating test, looking at this, what you have to do is, you have to choose those symbols except s. Okay, you have to choose those symbols which are ending with a small letter. For example, a is ending with a small letter here, so we'll write here a goes to a. Okay, and b, it's not ending with a small letter because it has a capital letter with it. D is ending with a small letter. Yes, it's ending with the a, b, which are both small letters, so you can select this one. E is ending with D. Okay, so we'll write here a, e, and d. Okay, so after writing a, e, and d, we'll go on to the s. S goes to a capital A or b capital B. Since we know that a is ending, means it's ending with a small letter, a is also considered as the generating test valid. Okay, so we can take this one a as the valid string, and small a with a valid string will give us the valid string. Okay, so we'll have s goes to a, small a, and capital A as ending strings. Okay, So we can consider these four things: A, S, E, and D. These are the four strings which are eliminating with a which are ending with a terminating character. Therefore, S, A, D, E are generating, and then except S, A, D, E, remove all those strings which are not ending. Okay, that means B and C is not ending with a small letter, so therefore remove B and its derivatives. Okay, as well as C. So when we eliminate B and C and all of its productions, what we will get is the resultant grammar. Okay, these are the four lines which is the resultant grammar. In the resultant grammar, what we have is these four strings: S goes to small a and capital A goes to AA, and D goes to AB, and E goes to D. Okay. After this, we have to do the reachability test. Okay. In reachability test, we will start from S. We will write here S goes to small a and capital A. Okay. These are the reachable terminals and the reachable variables. Variables is nothing but the capital letters. Terminals is the small letter. Okay. S goes to small a and capital A. After that, we'll be taking the reachable variable, which is capital A, and writing here. A goes to small a and capital A. That also we'll write here. And then, as you can observe, there is no new reachable states in the variables. A is already there previously. So we'll stop here. After stopping here, what are the variables we did not encounter? We can eliminate that. Okay, that means we did not encounter D as well as E. We can remove this one and choose the remaining one, which is S and A, as the final grammar. Okay, we'll have S is equal to AA and A goes to A and A. Okay, this is the final grammar. In this way, we have to do the first part, which is the elimination of the useless symbols. Okay, and after that, what we'll be doing is the second question. In the second question, we have as defined as small a and capital A, and small a and capital B and small b, and small c and capital C. Okay, and these are the four symbols defined with each of these derivatives here. We'll be performing two tests here. The first one is the generating test, and second is reachability test. In the generating test, we have to choose each of the symbol, and then we'll be seeing if the symbol leads us to a terminal or not. Again, in this case, the capital A is a variable which we'll be choosing, which will not be choosing because it's not ending with a terminal. It has a capital letter with the terminal. The second one is B. Okay, as you can see, B is ending with the terminal, so we'll be writing here B as the selected one, and the D will be written as the small d, which are all the terminals, so we'll be writing here D. Okay, and finally we have A here. A goes to AB, so we cannot select this one, and S goes to A, this we can select. Okay, because S is ending with just A. Okay, and we can actually select A also because B is ending one, right? Instead of B, we can write here as A, so it is two terminals, which is some small a and small a. Therefore, these are the selected symbols. The remaining symbol was C. C cannot be selected because here we have that C again. So whenever we keep on generating this one, we'll get C in a long chain, okay, which will not end. So therefore, the selected letters are B, D, A, and S. We'll eliminate C and all of its productions. After eliminating C and all of its productions from this given strings here, we'll be obtaining S and A, B, and D. Okay, these are the strings which are obtained after the first test, which is the generating test. After that, we have to do the reachability test. Start from S. S goes to AA, A, and B, B. Here we have the two terminals, two variables. The terminals are small a and small b. The variables are capital A and capital B. Okay. So these are the terminals and these are the non-terminals, and we'll be choosing each of these non-terminal one by one. A will be writing here. A goes to A and capital B. Right. A goes to A and capital B. These are the terminals small a, and the capital B is the non-terminal. We did not get any new symbol here, but let's see for B. When we write B here, we'll get A as the small symbol and the bigger symbol is capital A. Here also we did not get any new symbol, so therefore we'll be stopping here and eliminating D from here. Okay. When you eliminate D from here, the selected states are S, A, and B. So the final grammar will be the states defined by S, A, and B, which are the three states mentioned here. Okay, this is the final grammar. Moving on to the third one, we have the string S goes to A, small a, capital A, and small a, and small a, capital B, and C. And the same way we have written the four different strings for A, B, C, and D. We'll be performing the generating test. Start from A. Is A leading us to any terminal? No, it's not, because A is leading to S and S is not leading to any terminal here, and D is also not leading to any terminal here. So we cannot consider S here. Then let's move on to the B. Let's move on to B. B is ending with a terminal. Select B here. C. C is ending with a terminal. A, B, B. Select C here. Let's move on to the C now. S now. In S, what we have: A, capital A, and small a, or A, capital B, and capital C. Capital B and capital C both are terminals. We have written here because it's ending with a terminal. We can write here instead of this one terminals. Therefore, S is selected as a generating test. Okay. After writing S here, we can see for A also. A is Now terminating, because S is terminating and A is a small letter, so therefore this is a terminating character. When you get A also terminate, when you get A also as a terminating character, you can write it in this generating text. Okay, but for D we cannot find out the terminating character. Why? Because D is going to A D A, and this will go on infinitely. Okay, so this cannot be selected and it will be eliminated. Wherever you find D and the productions of D, like for example here and here, eliminate that one. So when you eliminate this one, and this one, we'll be obtaining with three lines, which are four lines, which are along with S, the three lines A, B, and C. Here you cannot find any D. Okay, this was the first test, which was generating test, and the result of this is here. Okay, then we will perform the reachability test on this one. So the reachability test, what we have to do is we have to see which all letters are possible to be reached from S. Okay, S goes to A, capital A, and here capital B. So we'll be writing A and capital B here. Then we'll be doing the same thing for A and B also. When you do for the same thing for A and B also, we did not find any new character or C here. So therefore eliminate C. See what all letters we got here, it does not have C, right? So we'll be eliminating C from here. Okay. After we eliminate C, the remaining symbols are the same written here. So these are the final grammar. Okay. The first part of the derivation is over, which was to eliminate the useless symbols, and the second part is the elimination of epsilon productions. So let's see about the elimination of epsilon productions. We'll be eliminating those symbols which are reaching to epsilon. Okay. So let's consider some examples and see how to do that one. In this we'll be eliminating the epsilon productions, and these are the symbols which are given to us, and these are the terminals and the non-terminals reaching from these symbols. Okay, so first our first step is, since we are eliminating the epsilon productions, we'll be choosing those letters which are leading to epsilon. Okay, like in this example you can see directly B is reaching to epsilon as well as C is reaching to epsilon. Okay, so B to E and C to E is also nullable. Okay, also, as you can see, A is reaching to B and C, both are nullable, therefore A is also nullable. Okay, because both of these are nullable, so it makes A also as nullable. Okay, then the step 2 is that we have to see for S. In S, what are the things included? Since A, B, and C and A is there, we can substitute A, B, or C as nullable, as well as we can make the combinations of A, B, and C as nullable. Suppose that we make all these symbols as nullable. Like for example, if you make A, B, and C as nullable, then what happens is only A is remaining here, and if we substitute both of these, like A, B as nullable, then C will be remaining. If I substitute A and C as nullable, then B will be remaining. If I substitute B and C as nullable, A will be remaining. Okay, and if I choose one letter at a time, like A, then B, C will be remaining. If I choose B, A, C will be remaining. If I choose C, A, B will be remaining. Okay, these are the combinations in which we have written here, the combinations of the nullables, and the BD is from the previous statement only. This I have written as it is. Okay, after we have found out this one, we'll be doing the same thing for the other letters as well. Firstly, we'll be finding out the nullables, and after that we'll be substituting the nullables in the main equation. Now S is over. Now we'll go for A. What is the string given for A? B, C, and B. Okay, B, C is given, right? So what we can do is we can substitute B as nullable. So we'll be remaining with C, and if I substitute C as nullable, we'll be remaining with B. Okay, so these are the possible combinations of A. Then we'll go for B. In B, what I have is small b and epsilon. So this is the only thing here. Same goes for C also. For D also, we have D only, so it will be written as that. Okay. So this is all what we have to do in the elimination of epsilon productions. Let's see a second example. Here we have S goes to ABC, and the nullables are B and C, which are going directly to epsilon. Since B and C are nullables, we can write A also as nullable because it is comprised of B and C. So A, B, C all are nullable. Okay, and we have S equals to A, B, C. So therefore S is also nullable. After we have found out what are the nullables, we have to find out the patterns. I mean the combinations. Since S, I will start from S and go for all of these. Okay, and A, B, and C all are nullable. So we will be finding out the combinations of A, B, C. ABC will be written, if I take A as epsilon, then BC will be written here. If I take B as epsilon, then I will write AC here. If I take C as epsilon, I will write AB here. Now if I take two at a time like AB, then C will be written. If I take AC, B will be written. If I take BC, A will be written. Okay, so these are the combinations I have written here. Same thing goes for A, B, and C as well. So we will be obtaining these combinations, and it's all what we have to do in the epsilon elimination of epsilon productions. And after we have done with the second step, our third step is to eliminate the unit productions. Okay, let's understand an example. What is the unit production? Unit production means which all letters are going to a single letter. S is going to B, which is a single letter. B is going to A, that's also a single letter. A is going to B, which is a single letter. A0 cannot be considered. Okay, means we have to go from one letter to another letter. Okay. So after we get these three lines here, which is S goes to B, B goes to A goes to B, then the unit plates will be written as S comma S, B comma B, A comma A. Okay, this is the first step which you have to do, basic step. After that, the induction step is that S goes to S, then what is S going to B? So we'll write S goes to S goes to B, and therefore the first and the last one, which is S goes to B, that will be written here. Then the second one is S goes to B. So I'll be writing S goes to B here and B goes to A. Therefore S goes to A I'll be writing here. Then S goes to A and A goes to B, and I'll be writing S goes to B here. The same thing we'll be doing for the B also. So B goes to B and B goes to A. So therefore we will write B goes to A here, and B goes to A goes to B, as we have seen in the equation here. So that will be B goes to B. Okay, so like that we'll be writing for all of the possible combinations. After we have written all of these combinations, we'll be noting down here, and we'll be substituting what is the values. Okay, like for example S goes to S. Okay, now what is the value of S? The value of S is A0, so I'll be writing there A0. See, we have to consider only those things which we have the numbers written, not the single unit. Okay, except the single unit, what is written, that will be considering. Okay, S goes to A0, we'll be writing here S goes to A0. S comma B is written here. So what is for B? For B I have A and 1 1. I'll not be considering A since it's a unit production. I'll be writing as 1 1. So I'll be writing here 1 1, and the same thing goes for S goes to A also, and for B and A also. Okay. So after we get all of this, our last step is to combine all of this. For example, if I write S B A, these are three letters here, and the combinations to get is S goes to A0, 1 1, and 0 1 2. All of this combined I'll write here, and the same thing goes for B and A as well. Okay. So this is the final answer for the elimination of the unit productions. Okay. Let's consider another example. Here are the letters which are given to us. Find out the unit productions. B goes to C, C goes to D, and D goes to E. These are all in the unit productions. Write B comma B, C comma C, D comma D. After that, do the induction step. B with C and B with B with C, B with D, B with E. Find out which are all possible and write down the combinations here. After that, writing the combinations for all of these, then we have to take the combination like previously we have done, right? Like A goes to B means what? B goes to B means what? Instead of B, what we have, B goes to C and B. Since we have considered this as unit production, we'll be considering B here. So we'll be writing here B. Okay. The same thing goes for all the other letters as well. And after we have found out all of this, we'll be choosing the letters here B, C, D, S, and A, and E. After we get all these letters, we'll be writing the possible combinations here. Okay. So B, B, C, D, A, B we have got from here. These are all the terminals and the non-terminals we have written here. Just in the last step, you have to combine each of these terminals with the final letter here, and this is the final grammar. Okay. The next one is the elimination questions, in which I will be given the letters here, and the terminals and the non-terminals will be given here. And these are the nullables which we will be writing here. So what is nullable? Firstly, we'll be scanning through all of these, and initially nullable set will be 0. Okay, means nothing will be there. And after that, we'll be finding out those letters which are reaching to epsilon, and that will be including in the nullable set. Okay, as you can see in the first pass, the letters which are reaching to nullable is C. So I'll be writing here C. Okay, then in the pass 2, what I'll be doing, I'll be including those letters where C is matching here. Those letters also from which I'm getting to C, that also is nullable. So I'll get A, B, and C as well as C, because all are reaching to C, right? So after I include all of these letters, that the set will be A, B, C, and D. After I get this set, what I have to do is I have to choose all those combinations in which I can substitute as nullables. For example, if I have T is equal to ABC, okay, ABC, all of these can be considered as nullables, right? So I'll be writing here T goes to ABC, and first I'll be considering A as nullable, then B as nullable, and C as nullable. So I'll be getting three combinations here, then I'll be considering two at a time, like AB, then BC, then AC. I'll be getting three more combinations here. Like that I'll be doing for all of these combinations. I'll get all of these letters here. Okay, these are the combinations I got here, and this is the eliminating type of questions, in which we'll have to find out after eliminating all the nullables. Okay, means all the possible combinations of the letters we have to represent here. Let's consider an example. Here we have S goes to S, and S goes to S goes to epsilon. Three statements are given to us, and we'll be doing the pass 0. In the pass 0, the nullable set will be empty initially, and in the pass 1, S goes to epsilon, so therefore this will be included here. and eventually SS and S also will be included since S is nullable. And after that, in the final step, we'll have all of these combinations, which is S goes to S, and nullable is represented as opening and closing braces, and SS is written here. Okay. So this is about the eliminating questions. The next one is Chomsky's normal form. So the rule is that it should have only two non-terminals in the RHS part. Okay. So non-terminal here goes to two non-terminals. If you have a longer string, we'll be cutting short into a shorter string. Okay. Let's see how to do that. For that, the first step is to do the nullable set here. And you will be given with four statements here in which the non-terminals are going to terminals as well as non-terminals. And what we have to do is we have to remove the epsilon first. For that, we'll be going through the nullable set T, and after that, when we pass here, C is going to epsilon, so C will be included. Since B is going to C, B will also be included, and A is going to B, so A will be included. So in the final set of nullable, we'll have C, B, A.
After we have obtained the nullable strings A, B and C, then what we'll be doing is we'll be applying nullables in each of these strings. Okay, means for example, S is equal to small a and ending with small a, in between we have A and C, right? So what we'll be doing, A and C both will be substituted as epsilon. Okay, when it will be substituted as a epsilon, we'll get the combinations of ACA, AAA, and if we substitute both as epsilon, we'll get AA. Okay, same thing goes for ABC as well. And now our next step is to remove the unit productions. What is unit production? See, A is to B is there, right? A goes to B. Okay, A goes to B is there, but B itself is C and C, right? So instead of B we can write directly C and C, right? And C is itself CC, right? So instead of C we can write here CC, and this can be written here. So that's what we are doing here. We are just substituting the values of B and C here. So we'll get directly A goes to CC. Okay, A goes to CC, and same thing goes for B and C as well. So finally, when we get the values of ABC, we'll be substituting back in the S string. So we'll get the S values here. Okay. And our third step is to remove the mixed productions. Mixed production means what is written here is AC small a, which is terminal ending with small a, and in between we have capital A and capital C. But in the final string we need all the capital letters. Okay, so to eliminate that, what we'll be doing, we'll be writing A as capital TA. Okay, so that will be a non-terminal capital TA, and here also we'll write that wherever we find small a, we'll write capital TA. If we find small b, we'll write capital TB. Else if it's C, we'll write the capital TC. Okay, now we have to define what is TA and TC. TA is nothing but small a, and TC is nothing but small c. After we have written this one, we'll be substituting the same thing in ABC also. Means wherever we find A, we will be writing there TC. I mean wherever we find C, there will write TC. Wherever we find A, we'll write TA. Okay. After that is over, we have to remove the long side. See, in each of these strings, what should be there is only two letters, means TA and A only. Okay, but we cannot eliminate C and TA also. So what we'll be doing is we'll be taking the combinations as TA and S1. What is S1? S1 is nothing but whatever remains after taking TA. So this is S1. So I've written TA into A, C, TA. I've considered this as S1. So it will be TA S1. Now S1 I can write as A into S2. A into S2, this is S2, then S2 can be written as C into S3, right? So like that we can do and find out the the main aim of Chomsky's normal form is that it should have two letters in the right hand side, and in the left it should be only one. Okay, in that way we'll terminate these characters here, and finally we'll obtain a two letter string here. Okay, after we have done that, we'll be substituting back the values of TA in the TA with S1, S2, S3 and all in the equations, and after that the finally we'll write these things here. Okay, like for as we did for S here, the same thing will be done for A, B and C also, and then finally we'll define what is TA and TC. So what happened is it became short, right? Now it is looking shorter. So that's the main aim of Chomsky's normal form. Okay. Coming to pushdown automata, it's defined in by using 7 tuples. So let's discuss what are these tuples. The first is Q. Okay, Q means finite number of states, means how many states are there, Q1, Q2 and all. And this is the input alphabet, and this is a transition function, and Q0 is the starting state, and F is the final state, and Z0 is the bottom of the stack. So here we'll be using a stack whose bottom is Z0, and tau is the stack content. Okay. So by using these 7 tuples, we will be defining the push down automata. Okay, so there are two types, deterministic and non-deterministic. The main difference is that in deterministic there will be only one state, means from Q1 to Q2 like that, and in non-deterministic we will have many transitions, means from one state we can go to multiple states. Okay, so yeah, we will be using a stack here. So let's discuss by using an example. In this example, what we have is the language which is given to us is a power n and b power n. Okay, and n is greater than or equal to 1. So what is the minimum string? Since n is greater than or equal to 1, the minimum string is a power 1 and b power 1. That means ab, right? So ab I have written here. Then we have if n is equal to 2, we have a b b, and so on will go until n number of times. Okay, so these are the strings, and how we will be performing this operation is that we will be using a stack. Okay, what happens is basically if I choose the string among this one as a and b, what we'll be doing is we will be writing here a and b. Okay, and after that we will be, whenever we encounter an a, we will be seeing equivalent b, and then we will be popping it. Okay, and then we will be finding an a and we will be seeing an equivalent b, and then we will be popping it, and then we'll do the same thing for the third a also, and then we will be popping this one. Okay, so basically whenever we encounter b, we will be popping one a, and another b will be popping another a, and the last b will be popping the first a. Okay, and after that, when the string is over, if there is nothing remaining, means no a is remaining in the stack, that means it's a valid string. Okay, else it's not a valid string. In that way we will be finding out if it's a valid string or not in push down automata. Okay, so in this diagram, as you can see here, we are starting from z0. Whenever we get a, we will be pushing into the stack, a push into stack, a push into the stack. B means pop this, then B means pop, B means pop. After B's are over, then if the string is empty, then it's a z0, that means the starting state. After we have seen it's working, let's see how to make the transition diagram. Okay, so in transition diagram we'll be starting from Q0. Okay, we don't know how many states are there, we are starting from the starting state, which is Q0, and then we will be writing the statements in this form. Okay, so as you can see here, starting from Q0, we are passing through a and z0, and we have written a z0. What does this mean? Okay, so the format is of this type. We are starting, okay, and what is the input? This is the input a. Okay, initially we have the string a, b. So what is the first input? A. Okay, so I have written here a. z0 means it's the top of the stack. This is a stack initially, and in the top of the stack z0 is there. Okay, so this is the input, the first character. The second character is the top of the stack, and what is this is, when we encounter a input, we will be pushing that into the stack, and this is nothing but the top two elements of the stack, which is a z0. So I have written here a z0. If this is the case, I will stay in the first state only. Okay, you will understand why I am staying in the first state after some time. Okay, so for now let's understand what does these terms mean, and after that you will slowly get to know why I have used this, means why I am staying in the same state. Okay, the next is a. This is the input, this is the top of the stack. So suppose that this is the stack here. Okay, z0 is here and I have a here, and if I get another input as a, at that time the top two input is a, I will write here a. I will be staying in the same state. Okay, suppose that the input is b. Okay, because firstly I have to accept n number of a's. So whenever I get an a, I will be pushing that into the stack and I will be staying in the same state. Okay, now you understood why I am staying in the same state for a. Then after that, if I encounter b and the top of the stack is a, I should pop it. Epsilon means pop. Okay, suppose that this is z0, a, then I encounter a b, the top of the stack is a, I should pop it. So this will be erased. So what I have is 2 a's. Okay, and whenever I encounter b, I will move on to the q1 state, because in q1 state I should just accept b's. Okay, because it is a power n and b power n, means first n number of a's will be over, then we will do n number of b's. So n number of a's are over in q0, then in q1 we will be doing for n number of b's. So whenever I get a b and the top of the stack is a, we will pop it, and like that we will keep on doing until I reach z0. If I reach z0, I will be passing through the state final state, which is qf. Okay, if I reach qf, that's my final state. The transition function is also the same thing. I will be writing this symbol here, opening braces, closing braces, and inside that which state I am starting from Q naught, what is the input A, what is the top of the stack Z naught. After that, right here in which state you reached after passing through this input, you reached Q naught only, so write Q naught here, and then A Z naught is the top two elements of the stack. So in this way we will write the transition function for the every possible combination here. Okay. So for example, for the second one, how it is, the symbol I have written here, then Q naught, starting the input is A as well as the top of the stack is A, so A comma A, and then here what I will write, the final state which is Q naught after passing through this input, and the top of the stack is two elements is AA, so I have written here AA. Okay, like that will do for all of the states. Okay, so this is all what you have to do in the push down automata. Let's discuss the second question. In second question, we have been given design an automata for the L is equal to number of A's and number of B should be equal. Okay, so if it is equal means what are the states, AB, BA, AA, BB means number of A's and B's are equal in the string. Okay, so how we will approach this question is, if AA is there, okay, so suppose that AB, BA, AA, BB, so how we will write this is, Q naught is the starting state and QF is the final state. When we will reach to QF, when our string will be over. Suppose that our string is AA, BB. If it is A, what it should do, it should stay in the same state, right? So if it is A, it will stay in the Q naught only. Okay, so whenever I encounter an A, I will push into the stack. Okay, so Z naught is here, A, I encounter 2A, I will push in the stack, and then if I encounter B, I will pop it. For each A, I will encounter a B, I will pop it. Okay, another B, I will pop this one. When the string is over as well as the stack is reaching at the top here, like in the Z naught, then we can conclude that the number of A's and B's are equal, because each A was cancelled by each B, right? So in that way you can know if the string is valid or not. For that only I have written here, the input is A and Z naught, then I should stay in the same state. If it is A and Z naught, sorry, it is B, okay, B and Z naught, I should stay in the same state. Or if it is BB, AA, in all the cases I will stay in the same state, except if it is different. Means what I mean to say is, if BB is there, okay, I will stay in the same state only, I will not pop it. B will not pop B, B will pop A, right? So if B comma A is there, pop it. Okay, if A is there on the top of the stack, if B came, pop it. Else in the other case, if A is there on the top of the, if B is there on the top of the stack, A came, pop it. Okay. So in this way, when we reach the end, it will be epsilon and we will be reaching the final state here. Okay, and writing the transition function is same as I discussed earlier. And let's move on to the third one, in which we have A power n and B power 2n. So for each A, I have two B's, A B B, double A 4B, triple A 6B's, and so on. Okay, so for each of the A, I should have 2B. Okay, so how will I represent that one? A with Z naught, it will stay in the same state, A and A also in the same state. When I will reach Q1 is when I encounter B. Okay, if I encounter B with A, I will reach Q1, and after that what happens is, if another B I encounter, at that time I will pop an A. Okay, so for example, see here, this is Z naught, this is A. When this A will be popped out, this A will be popped out when I encounter two B's for one A, this will be popped out. If I have another A, I need another two B's to pop this one also. So whenever I encounter 2B, I will pop out A. How can I show that I am encountering 2B? First B is encountered here, second B is encountered here. So I have encountered 2 B's, I will pop it. Okay. For first encounter of B, I will not pop anything. Second encounter of B, I will pop out A. Okay. Then I will reach Q2. What if I have another A? If I have another A, I will again go to Q1 through this state. Again, if I have B, means if I got B, I will reach here. Again, if I get B, I will reach here. That means first B, second B. Pop in that process, I will be popping an A here. Okay, and after everything is over, if I have the empty string left, I will reach the final state. Okay, that will show that it's an valid string. In the same way, we will write the transition function also. Okay, so these are the transition functions. The next one is construct a PDF for the given language. Here we have A power 2n and B power n. The same thing, but we have 2 A's with 1 B. So whenever I encounter 2A, I will be popping once. Okay, this is the same thing here, first A, second A. Okay, whenever whenever I encounter two A's, then if I encounter a B, I'll be popping it. Okay. So two A's are encountered here, then one B if I encounter, I'll be popping it. Okay, and I'll be reaching here. Then in the same way, if I have n number of A's initially, that all will be present here. Then whenever I encounter a B for each of these A's, then I'll be popping it. Okay, and if my string is over, I will be reaching the final state. Okay. And in this question we have been asked a power n, b power n, c power m. Okay, so three things are there separately, a, b and c, but two of them are combined, means n and a and b have n and c has m. Okay, suppose that n and m is equal to 1, so it will be a, b, c. If n is 2 and m is 1, a, b, b and c, and if n is equal to m is equal to 2, a, b, b and c, c. Okay. So how can we construct a PDA for this one? So it's very simple. First we'll be dividing this into two parts. These two parts. For each A, I should have one B. If one A is there, I should have one B. If two A is there, I should have two B. Okay. M is separate. We can consider that later. First, I have to get done with this one. So that means for how many A's I push, that many B's if I encounter, I'll be popping it and I'll be reaching the empty stack. Okay. Means A is there. If I encounter BB after that, I'll be cancelling this one and I'll be reaching the empty string here. If I reach an empty string here, then I can count how many number of C is there. Okay, that doesn't matter. C can be 1 also. Okay, so how I'll approach this one is, if I encounter A, I'll be reaching the same state. If I encounter B, then what I'll be doing is I'll be popping it and I'll be going to Q1. For each encounter of B, I'll be popping A from the stack. And after that, if I encounter C, I will be reaching the final state, and here I can have the self loop for C. Okay. The next one is construct a PDF for the language. W is equal to L is equal to A, B, C, A power I, B power J and C power K, and K is equal to I plus J. So in this question for A, I will be staying in the same state, since if A is 0 and I, J and K both are 0, means I plus J is equal to K. If I and J both are 0, K will also be 0, right? So there is an empty string, it should accept an empty string, so I have written here the final state. But if A is there, first I will accept n number of A's, then for B I will be going to the Q1, there I will accept n number of B's. Now this combination should be equal to number of C's, right? So whenever I encounter C or whenever I encounter a B or an A, I will be popping it. Okay, in that way, if there are 4 number of C's, if there is 2 number of A and 2 number of B, then 4 times C should be popped, right? So I'll have 4 self loop here for popping 4 times. Okay, and after that, if everything is over, we'll be using an empty string to reach the final state. Okay, in other case, if I have no string here, just I have C, that means I'll be reaching directly to the final state. What I mean is, I can have like this, right? A power 1, B power 0, C power 1, because 1 plus 0 is 1. In this case, I'll be directly reaching to the final state. Okay, and I can have the same thing for A power 0, B power 1 and C power 1. In this case, I should have written here C comma A, C comma B and CB. Okay, this I have missed, but it will be there. Okay, next one is the PDA for the balanced parenthesis. So this is simple. When a parenthesis is balanced, suppose that this is the parenthesis, is this balanced or not? This is balanced. Why? Because this will be pushed into the stack first. Okay, Z0 is here, this will be pushed. Okay, whenever I encounter opposite parenthesis, I will be cancelling it. Okay, this opening braces I will be putting here, then opening braces, closing braces, cancel this one, closing braces, cancel this one. Okay, so this is an valid parenthesis because the stack is empty at the end of the string. Okay, so the same thing I have defined here. For the if it's an opening braces, I will be pushing it into the stack. If it's closing braces, I will be popping it. Okay, and finally, if I have empty string, I will be reaching the final state. Okay, the next one is construct a PDA for the reverse string. So W is here, C, then the reverse of the string. That means if I have a string A B A, then I should have C, then again A B A. Okay, means the reverse of this first string. And how can I do this one? Firstly, I will be accepting all the strings here. Means whatever string I want, like B and A with A, B with B, A B, and A Z0, B Z0, all things I will be accepting here. I will be staying in the same state. After I accept a particular string here, like suppose A, B, B, I have accepted this one. Okay. After that I need to have C. So I will be passing through C from Q0 to Q1. I will be passing through C, the input is C, and the top of the stack may either be A or B. In both cases I will be passing to I will be passing to Q1. After that, here I can have the, I should check the palindrome, right? So the palindrome will be accepted only when it's a string of this type. Okay. In this case, if the top of the stack is B, see what I mean is, in the stack what will be there? This is Z0, A, B, B. Now if it is a palindrome, at that time if the input is B and B, input is B and the top of the stack is B, it is accepted. Okay. B will cancel B. Then the next top element is B. If I get the input B, it will cancel it. Next top element is A. So if the top element is A as well as the input is A, at that time I will cancel A with A. Okay. After that, if I reach the Z0, that means it's a valid string. Okay. So in that way, the reverse of the string is also checked in this case. Okay. And finally, we have the language which is A power m and B power n, and m comma n is greater than or equal to 0. M is not equal to n. So in this case, what is the possible string? Like for example, A power m. Let's take m as 2 and n as 1. So in this case, A power 2 A and n is 1, so B. How to accept A and B? If it is A, I will be staying in the same state here. If it is B, I will be popping it. Okay. So for each A, I will be popping one B. After that, the popping will go on if there is no popping, and if it's an epsilon, I will be reaching the final state here. Okay. So in this way, I will be defining the PDF for the given language. Okay. So this is all about the module 3 of 18CS54. Let's discuss the previous questions, and I'll be giving you a hint how to solve the questions. Okay. So the first question is to define CFG, which is context-free grammar, and we have to define the context-free grammar for the languages A power I and B power j, and 2i is equal to 3j plus 1. So we have discussed for I plus j is equal to k, right? The same thing we have to do here also, but the equation is different. Okay. This one also we have discussed in the questions, and define Chomsky's normal form, this we have discussed, and convert the following into Chomsky's normal form. Those 2-3 steps are there, right? That we have to do. I think we have done this same question only. Okay, check once. And the next one is define ambiguity and consider the grammar E is equal to, E goes to plus ET and star EE, EE divided by and X divided by Y. Okay. Find the leftmost and the rightmost derivations and pass trees for the string plus into minus xy star x and y. Okay. This is what we have to do. We have to just start from here. If we are considering the leftmost derivation, we will be starting from here. We will be doing x and star x. Okay. X star x means first we will be taking E, then we will be doing star, then E, and this E is replaced further. If it's subtraction, we will be doing subtraction like E minus E, and E will be written as id, then x, like that we will be keep on doing. If it's leftmost, we will start from the left, else if it's rightmost, we will be starting from the right. Okay. And we have discussed about ambiguity. That means if the pass trees of LMD and RMD are not same, it is known as means the pass trees, if they are not same, it's called as ambiguous. Okay. The next one is to define PDA and design a PDA to accept the following language, and WWR. For WC, WR we have discussed, just remove the C, we will be remaining with WWR. Okay. We have discussed the diagram and the functions also. The next one is define grammar. What is the inherent ambiguity? Show that the language given is inherently ambiguous. Okay. So this also we have discussed, A power n, B power n and C power m. Divide this into two parts and consider each part separately, and do the following diagram also. Okay. This is a pretty simple one. The next one is convert the following form into form from CFG to PDA. Okay, this is the same question, WWR I have written in the above also. And moving on to the next one, we have define CFG and design a CFG for the languages 0 power n, 1 power m and 2 power n. This is the same thing, just the variables have been changed, right? This is also the same thing, we have discussed this one in the examples, and this also we have discussed. And convert the following into equivalent PDA. The same question we have done in the examples, and for the regular expression 0 1 1 plus 1 star 01 star obtain the context free grammar. Okay, so here what we have to do is this repeated n number of times, so we'll be considering each case one by one, and then we'll be forming the trees. Okay, so I guess this is from the previous module, because I have copied the questions from the previous schemes also. So the syllabus might have changed, but I am not sure about it. It's also just repeated, asked once in the paper, so it's not a repeated question, so you might skip it, but make sure you are solving the important questions which are repeated many times. Okay, so this is the number of times it's repeated, like 3 times, and here we have the more repeated questions 4 times, and this is repeated 5 times. Okay, so make sure you solve these questions before appearing for the exam. Okay, moving on, we have show that the following grammar is ambiguous. Okay, just make this parse trees for this one, and then if both are different, that means it's ambiguous. Okay, and then we have obtained a CFG for the PDA given here. By using this functions, we have to create the transition diagram. Okay, that means if you have like Q naught, input is A and the top of the stack is Z, then it is Q naught AZ. Okay, for example, if this is Q naught here and the input is A. Okay, so first we will be writing input as A, top of the stack is Z, then the top 2 elements is AZ. Like that we have to create the whole diagram here, and after that by using these inputs we will be creating the PDA. Okay, so this is all about the module 3 of 18 CS54, and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.